talk to us about exactly what's vulnerable here and to what extent recent updates have mitigated some of the risks.
Right, so let's break this down. There are two different vulnerabilities as part of this chip situation. Like you said, there's MELTDOWN and then there's SPECTRE. So Apple said that all of its hardware devices, excluding the Apple Watch, are affected by both of them, so MELTDOWN and SPECTRE. MELTDOWN had software updates on the Apple devices in December across the Mac, the iPod Touch, of course the iPhone and the iPad and the Apple TV that mitigates the problem. Mitigates is a key word that they choose here. They're not saying this is a final solution. They're not saying they have solved the problem. I think this is going to become very quickly a cat and mouse game. They're saying no exploits have been designed to go through these security flaws, but that doesn't mean that hackers aren't working away on trying to get through to these exploits as we speak.
You know, often when you hear about bugs and stuff like that and security exploits, it's on sort of Wintel, Windows computers, and Mac people can be kind of smug about how they never get viruses and all that stuff. Is that changing over time as the sort of attack vectors change through the web, through the chips themselves, that the security gap is not as big as maybe people like to think?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. A lot of the software platforms and hardware platforms across the different companies, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, they're all very similar. They're all moving to voice, AI, AR, VR, all the buzzwords you can think of. But in this situation, it's not really an apples to apples comparison with the Windows is more buggy than Mac, because we're talking about hardware chips. We're talking about an underlying process here that exists across the entire technology industry, something that's been going on for a decade, only now really brought to light. And that's this process called speculative execution. Now that all the chips basically are the same speed, you can't really tell apart how much faster Windows is than a Mac computer. They're using this process so that it lets the chip basically guess what you're going to do next. If it thinks you're going to open this app next, it's going to start opening it. And that little process, that very short period of time, is where the exploit is available for intruders to break into your stuff.